Broads Media.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'll tell you what you can do. If you're new to the channel here, you can subscribe. You can hit the thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate it. You can go on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all your podcasting platforms, and subscribe to Sports Talk with Broads there and take me on the car with you, or in the car with you, on car rides. And if you want, Coffee with Broads is back every Monday and Thursday morning at 11 a.m. right here on YouTube. The live streams are amazing. Thank you all so much. How you get access, though? You join the YouTube community here, the membership program, for $4.99 a month, and you get access to Coffee with Broads live streams and also our Discord channel. All the information is down below. I appreciate all the support and enjoy the show. What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. This one's weird. Weird. I'm not angry. I'm sad. I'm not mad at the team. I think they gave us what they had. I'm just more annoyed that it happens every year. In a strange way, this is probably the best I feel about a loss. I'm just so used to losing that I've been so pissed in so many other sequences. When Ben Simmons doesn't want to dunk it on Trae Young, or James Harden with a no-show in a big game, or something like that, it bothered me like no other. I have a lot of conflicting emotions right now, but I'm not mad at them. It just sucks. Sucks. Came down to a Josh Hart 3. Get the ball out of Brunson's hands, because you can't have him beat you. Josh Hart's wide open. He cooks it. Every game came down to literally the final couple minutes, seconds. To the point where Nick Nurse pregame was joking around, basically saying, it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what decisions are made. It doesn't matter who plays, who doesn't play, rotations. By the end of this thing, it's going to come down to a couple of shots. And he nailed it again. That's the way these two teams competed. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm happy because it's over, happy that it happened, sad that it's over, sad that it happened. I have no idea. Tobias played 29 minutes and gave you 0 points, though. That I do know. Horrible. Kyle Lowry, 0 points, 13 minutes, or 19 minutes. What was it? 13 minutes, 0 points. You know, that's 2 starters for you. Giving you zip. Joel did his thing. I didn't think Maxey played a good game. I know he had a couple of buckets there in the fourth, and he could not get a whistle to save his life. But I still thought that defensively and other possessions offensively, other than the ones he didn't get called on or no foul was called on him on, I just don't think he played good. I don't think he was comfortable. I don't think he was comfortable at all. Whether the Knicks elected to play him differently and have a different sense of urgency so he couldn't put up 46 and feel good after what he did last performance. Whatever it was, just wasn't as crisp. And it goes a lot farther than just he was fouled. I think sometimes he goes up so wildly, he puts himself in a position for them not to blow the whistle. And then other times, I think he straight up gets screwed. It's a little bit of both. It's 50-50. Just like this series was. And it was a beauty. I mean, it was a doozy. I could only imagine what it would be like to not have anything on the table in this one. Because it was one of the wildest rides in the world. OG with the big dunk as the C parts. I thought that was when it was all said and done, but then the Sixers respond with a 3. Look, the Sixers were down 20-plus points in this one, and they battle back. They have a 10-point lead. What? Buddy Hield? What? His first possession, I'm going, yo, Nicholas, get this fucking guy off the floor. Come on. Yo, get this guy off the floor. He was afraid. And then after that, what? 20? Campaign giving you life. Batum giving you life. Batum had a tip, a putback, tip and dunk. Guy's 58. Getting up there. But for as good as all the role players were for the Sixers, DiVincenzo did his thing, OG did his thing, Hartenstein started to do the good old shot-put shot, Jalen Brunson. The one thing that bothers me about him, it's not so much him doing it because he's getting away with it, but the league literally made it known that we are no longer allowing fouls to be called when a defender is going full speed, stops on a dime, and then the guy following them runs into the back of him. That's not, you removed it from the game. You said we're no longer going to allow players to utilize this. We are watching the film. We are showing every single referee who's in our league, unless they didn't do that, and they're even more incompetent of a league than I thought. But this is what we're doing. We're not rewarding that play. And he got rewarded with it all day long, which is a joke. Joel Embiid gets the ball from a rebound. The ball then hits Hartenstein, and now the Sixers get fucked. Just brutal. I thought the refs were horrendous. But they had their bench players do their thing. We had our bench players do our thing. And it came down to a max contract player was absolutely useless. How fitting for him to go goodbye. And maybe that's why we feel better, or at least I feel better, or I'll speak for myself here, that at the end of this season, I've been crushed, I've been angrier, I've been sadder, I've been more depressed when I saw a Sixers team lose. But maybe it's the fact that, you have one more real crack at this, whether it's Paul George stuff, whether it's LeBron James stuff, but because Tobias Harris will no longer be here, you finally have a chance to get that off the books. And, getting a third guy in here, a max contract slot next to Embiid and Maxey changes the whole dynamic of this team. They just had a max contract guy play almost 30 minutes and give you 0 points. Zero. Like, actually think about it. 0 points. Thought I wasn't going to get mad. But him, I don't get that. That? After you just played your ass off and did pretty well in game 5? But maybe that's why we're finding some sort of joy, because Maxey grew up on us, and Embiid, for all the idiots that claim he can't play this time of the year, dude had pretty much 40 at 39 points. It sucks he ended up fouling. I would like Kelly Oubre to foul Josh Hart underneath the basket. Instead, it goes to DiVincenzo. He hits his free throws. Yo, come on. We got to be smarter. We got to be smarter. And that's why the other half of my body eats me alive, because why is it always the Sixers that just don't do enough? No matter what it is. It might be one possession in the fourth with 40 seconds to go. Whatever it is, it's always the Sixers falling short. It's Ben Simmons passing to Matisse Thybulle. It's James Harden and Embiid no-showing. It's this, it's that. Ben got injured one time with the back injury. I believe they got swept that year. It's always something. Bellinelli, it's big shot. Oh no, the confetti fell. It wasn't a big shot. Always something. Embiid with the face injuries. Always something. When will they be smarter? When will they lock in those details? Because it was, what's the word I used? Disjointed. I like that word. It was disjointed early, and then even at times in the fourth, it was more disjointed than the Knicks. The Knicks got Jalen Brunson the ball, and it was in control. It was comfortable. The Sixers may have found a way to scrap a bucket here and there, score some points. They did score 30-plus points in the fourth, so it wasn't a dreadful 12-point effort, 16-point effort. They were getting buckets, but the eye test throughout the flow of that fourth period, it didn't really give me a bunch of confidence, whereas I thought the Knicks looked more in control as Jalen Brunson was the one facilitating the action or scoring his buckets and getting points. So for whatever that's worth, it just sucks, man. It sucks. It sucks. I don't know what else to say. Another year. One hell of a series. Jesus. Sixers fans were better tonight. Thought it was a lot more in favor of the Sixers. Yep. That's the positivity we're looking for here. Begging our fans to show up. Joshua Harris, courtside. For the ones that say he doesn't care, doesn't want to win. Saw him clapping away. I saw him smile. Yep. You know. Maxey. Long-term projection. Good stuff this playoff series. Disappointing moments. Really, really exciting moments. You just got to take that. And with whatever contract you get when Tobias leaves, pair that up with him and Embiid. See where it takes us. You know. Trying to sell us that we're going to do this again. You know. It's kind of where we're at. I don't have it in me to scream at this current moment. Because there's a lot of emotions and different feelings going on. They're bouncing off the walls inside of me. I can feel it just bouncing around. I guess we'll go to the phones and just react to the people because I sort of shared my thoughts on it all. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, what a devastating blow to this game. This game was hard fought. Good luck to New York for the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I have a big question to ask. Who the hell, or how are we going to address Nick Nurse if he is going to be the future head coach? Because there was a lot of mistakes he made that potentially cost us this game. First and foremost, I don't know why the hell he would challenge that call when Embiid hit the guy in the face. That was stupid.
That was not stupid at all. He hit the ball, then the ball hit his face.
The second one, because he challenged that call, he didn't get the opportunity to challenge the second one when Brunson and Oubre got tangled up. And last but certainly not least, the dagger three by Josh Hart.
You do realize you can't let Jalen Brunson beat you, right? Timeout. I can't even entertain this. Nick Nurse is our coach. I may have had underwhelming moments throughout the series with Nick. I also saw some things I really liked out of Nick. And if I'm going to analyze what went wrong this series, as my pen flies out of my hand, it's way more roster construction, players' failures than it is Nick. I believe he was very limited in what he wanted to do and what he had. I mean, Buddy Hield came over here as one of the best acquisitions at the deadline and became a DNP coach's decision. He was unplayable. And I believe he got so damn desperate looking for three-point shooting with Embiid getting doubled. He made some awesome passes, fantastic passes, where it goes from the block, a zip bounce pass to Tobias. Tobias swings it to Hield. Hield wide open for three. Bang. I think because of the way, maybe the speed of the game as well. Campaign was getting feisty. He's stripping guys at half court, taking the ball the other way. Quick trigger three. One of those, no, please. Oh, my God. I can't believe he made that ballsy, but it went in. It all's good. But, wow. Maybe like the way the flow of the game was going. Batum had a couple of those spot-up threes. So maybe there was just something to that, and he thought Buddy Hield could fit the identity of this one. I just can't get over his first possession where he was afraid. He didn't want the ball. He said, please, Joel, somebody else take it. I don't want it. I don't feel good. You don't feel good. Please. I would have taken him right out of the game right then and there. But anyway, the point is, Nick Nurse does not fall high on my list. And the way I'll say it is, Joel Embiid had a bad game 5. Joel Embiid, when you look at the totality of this series, he's the farthest on my list. He had a stinker game 5. He's been giving you 35 points per game leading up to game 5, and then he almost gives you a 40 burger. And as much as Maxey was excellent and thriving in Game 5. 46 points, one of the most epic moments in postseason history. That's pretty amazing. Joel Embiid did better than that. Joel Embiid already had a game better than that in this series. And what Maxey did was sensational. It was actually fucking phenomenal. It was so good. And Embiid had a better game than that. So Embiid has showed me I'm all right with Embiid. I'm good with Embiid. Embiid's the least of my concerns. It's what's Daryl Morey going to do with the flexibility that's at his fingertips. Because the opportunity is there. I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going all in on LeBron James. I like that way more than Paul George. I don't know what that is. I don't know how that happened. I ain't paying attention to what's going on with him and the Lakers and this and that and where his son's getting drafted. Whatever. Go get LeBron James. But that's a conversation for another day. It's not really here. Not the right now. But Nick Nurse, I don't know. Like, challenging plays, I'm okay with what he challenged. And even if he does have a stinker of a challenge here and there, I ain't worried about Nick Nurse. Let's get this bench right. Let's get real players. Let's get a max contract guy in here. Let's get this thing rolling with some serious talent. And then if Nick Nurse struggles and sucks with a roster that I deem is solid as hell, then we'll talk about Nick Nurse. But I promise you, if he has some people that are very good, Nick Nurse is going to do things that are very good. Let's take the next call.
Bros, I don't know what to say. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Heartbroken for these players. They really played their hearts out this series. This wasn't your typical Sixers series loss where you're screaming to just blow the roster up. They actually put forward a fight, and they made it a great series. But, the Sixers just didn't get the little things right, and, they come up short. I don't really know what to say. Maxey, struggled until the fourth quarter, and Embiid struggled in the fourth quarter again. Buddy Hield, gave the Sixers the energy off the bench tonight, but it wasn't enough. I don't trust the general manager making the decisions, but, I'm not super angry like I usually am after the Sixers series losses.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, the Daryl Morey thing is interesting, and I want to poke at it a bit because there are a lot of Sixers fans that hate Daryl Morey because he trades Ben Simmons for James Harden. You got to remember, when you get put into place with this Toby deal, you are screwed for a while. I mean, it's just reality of it. And I'm not telling you he's perfect, but I don't think he is even nearly as bad as what some Sixers fans feel. There's a reason why when he hit the NBA world with, hey, I'm leaving Houston, I'm no longer there, let's talk, everyone in the NBA is interested. I mean, seriously. Everybody goes, whoa, Daryl Morey? That doesn't mean he bats 1,000. He does not bat 1,000. But people are acting like getting James Harden for Ben Simmons was a bad move. It was not a bad move. In theory, that is a very good move. Didn't work out. James Harden wants to leave. All right, this and that. He leaves. That's how the NBA goes. It is what it is. But I don't know. I'm not as worried about it as others are. It seems pretty obvious that they know what's available this offseason. This isn't the first time they're thinking about it. Quite frankly, because of where Joel Embiid was and his status at the time of the trade deadline, they had their next season in mind. I don't want to say they punted this season, but there definitely was an organizational approach to Tobias Harris coming off the books. There was a clear sight on when Tobias leaves. And they understood that that's when they can make a serious facelift happen. There was always moves. They always tried things, Kyle Lowry, and they tried to make certain acquisitions when they could. But at the end of the day, they can't really do much until that Tobias deal was a goner. And they had that in mind. Trust me, they didn't wake up one day and go, oh, yeah, hey, by the way, remember Tobias' deal's done this year? Oh, I forgot. Sorry, I had so many other things on my mind. It's the only thing on their mind. It's the only thing that's been on their mind. And I guess it kind of makes sense because the dude's a max contract player giving you zero. Jesus, I would have taken a 7-point effort. You kidding me? A 7-point effort would have felt like a 90-point effort with the way that we've been getting Tobias play lately. Jeez, man, I can't wrap my head around it.
Well, I did expect them to win tonight. That was a tough pill to swallow, but I mean, they deserved to lose that game. I mean, they really did. Man, this one does sting a little bit just because I hate New York so much. I hate the Knicks. I have a lot of friends that are Knicks fans, but this one stings, man. This one hurts. I'll give a lot of props to Buddy Hield. I mean, that last shot was definitely not great. He had plenty of time to take 1 or 2 dribbles and then shoot. But, I mean, I get it. The last thing you want to do is put up a shot and then it goes in and it was still in your hand when the buzzer sounded. He played awesome. Batum, he played great. Man. Dude, this one hurts, bro. This one hurts. But, I hope we can re-sign Oubre in the offseason. Tobias is going to be gone. I love Embiid. Please give Maxey a bunch of money. He's going to be a stud for us for the next 7 years or so.
He definitely is. 7. I hope longer than that. But how come no one's criticizing Maxey the way Embiid gets criticized? Maxey's him, right? A lot of you said, let's build around him, right? Forget Embiid. This needs to be the Maxey show, right? And I believe one day we will get there. But if that's the case, one day ago that was the case. It's time to build around Maxey. Maxey's the best player on the team. Maxey is the highest ceiling guy on the team. No, the standards are just so wild because Joel Embiid has done it so consistently for so long. When he drops a 50-point effort, you feel 46-point effort's better than a 50-point effort. It's not. It's crazy, but Maxey didn't play good. Maxey did not play good today. Did not play good enough for my standard of knowing where he's at in his career. I'm not saying I need 46, but if Embiid did what he did, this city would be going nuts. Nuts! Because it wouldn't be good enough in a closeout game. Well, what standard are we holding Maxey to? I need more. That's all. It's tough love. Love the kid. Who doesn't love the kid? It's tough love, yo. And I'm sure if you asked him, what'd you think of your game tonight? If he was being honest with you 100%, God, wasn't good enough. Isn't that what we want? To hold a responsible amount of accountability on him? I need more. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. A lot of people are more fascinated in Kelly Oubre than I am. I would like Oubre back as a bench player. I would not like to have Oubre back as a starter. I could live with it if it's super cheap and I'm just saying, you're going to get LeBron. All right, and if there's a world where you have yourself Joel, Maxey, LeBron, Oubre, I'll take it if the payoff is LeBron, okay? But I'm not in love. It's not we need to bring back Kelly Oubre for me. He was a little timid in the postseason. Gave you a fine regular season run. He's very inconsistent, though. He's fine, but it's not like I need fine back. Maybe just for the comfortability factor. There's been a lot of turnover, a lot of big faces, a lot of new coaches, a lot of new roster guys. So actually, one of the things that I've always discussed over the last few postseason runs is how many new acquisitions at the deadline, and you got to fit Joel Embiid back from injury, and Ben Simmons leaves, then he comes back, and then, you have Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris and Brett Brown and then Doc, and there's just been so much change that for just comfortability, similar faces, building chemistry, having a whole season under your belt with somebody. You know what? Once again, not screaming it needs to happen, but I'm not as anti as maybe I was at one point just because the continuity needs to start happening here, or it's too much change 24/7. How many times does a team that gets put together just runs right through? Even the Miami Heat, who went with LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, they got there, but they didn't close the door. And that's one special, unique crew. with one of the best coaches we've seen in the game. So with the Sixers, a third star, that guy being new, unless it's LeBron James. Then, of course, we're going to win a ship. I can't do that today. I'm sorry. That was uncomfortable.
Bros, what the fuck, man? The game just ended. My emotions were all over the place. It was a hell of a series, man. Any game could have went either way for either team. I got to give respect to the Knicks. Honestly, they just wanted it more. The OG and Anunoby, Josh Hart, Hartenstein, those guys are playing their ass off, man. All the Villanova boys are playing their ass off. When they're fighting that hard for rebounds and we're not boxing out, we're letting them get 2 and 3 chances at a possession. You're not going to win that way. But this is the best first round series I've probably ever seen. The Sixers fought, and B was hobbled, no excuses. Tobias, 0 points, fucking nuts. Buddy Hield finally let off punishment. He did well tonight. Kind of makes you wonder, he should have played a little earlier in the series, should have, gave him some more minutes. But, hey, Batum on that last possession was the reason that Josh Hart was so open. It was a blunder on his side, and Josh Hart knocked it down. Those guys have been knocking down clutch and tough shots all series. Maxey can't get a foul call at home, which is crazy. He's getting the exact same contact that Brunson's getting, but they just won't blow the whistle for him.
Well, it's two different things. Brunson is going full speed, dribbling, stopping, and then forcing you to run into him. Maxey sometimes is just going full speed wildly at the rim where 3 guys are going vertical. Does he deserve some foul calls? Oh, there's no doubt about it. But sometimes I really do think that you have to methodically find your way into – you have to trick the refs in a way. And when you just go so fast and you just do whatever and you just attack – I think at times that hurts you. And I also think that he's getting screwed at the same time. I think it's both. It just depends on each possession. It was back and forth. It was tough for sure. I don't hate the idea of getting the ball out of Brunson's hands. I just don't want him to beat you. They probably, Josh Hart went for the pass around the perimeter, and then there was a jump at that action, and then he ends up pulling it and knocking it down. So it's just crazy. It's a crazy series all the way through. You mentioned something, though, about, wanting it more, the rebounds. Even with the rebounds, though, I don't know if that's necessarily they just always wanted it more than you. It's just what they do. That's part of their style. The Sixers do other things. The Knicks' style is their intensity on the glass. I've mentioned this before, but just because that's their DNA, it doesn't mean they want it any more than the Sixers do. I just think for whatever reason, look, not every possession's perfect. Can you find examples where they did a better job of beating you to a loose ball? There's sequences throughout these 6 games where the overwhelming intensity by the Knicks seemed to take over, and that's when they would go on a massive run. But just because they won in certain rebounding departments, it doesn't automatically result to, it's cliche, but rebounding's just hustling. Yes and no. The Sixers and Knicks, the separation in want wasn't as large, and the disparity wasn't as massive as the offensive rebound numbers were at particular times in that series, if that makes sense. I think I saw a stat, though, that this series through the 6 games was advantage Knicks by 1 point when it's all said and done. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. You mentioned that this is one of the best series in the first round that you've ever seen. That's because this is a second-round matchup. It truly is. This is a second-round matchup. The Sixers through 82 games are not a 7 seed. This would be a team that would see the Knicks in the second round more times than not. It just so happened that they met earlier. So I almost look at this as another Game 6 second-round exit to a degree, which annoys me because you're right there. And I constantly keep talking about how when you're knocking at the door, you're constantly getting the game 6s and second round matchups, game 7s and second round matchups. It takes a wild sequence of Kawhi Leonard and a quadruple doing. If you're constantly getting there, then eventually you will break through. But I'm waiting for this eventually you will break through thing. It's not coming. Why isn't it coming? Why? By now you've gotten enough cracks. So anyway, here's the stat throughout the game. The Sixers are the first team to trail by 20-plus points in the first half and lead at halftime in the last 25 postseasons. No matter what, this game was going to come down to the absolute end, and it sure did. And unfortunately, the Sixers are on the bad end of it again. And now we're going to have some fun this offseason, huh? Oh, yeah. We're going to have a blast. LeBron watch, here we come. Putting all my eggs in the basket. LeBron watch, here I come. I'm going to be insufferable if I'm not already. All right, everybody, those are my thoughts. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Thank you all so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.